Okay. All right. Shalom, Yasha. All praise to Yahweh, Bashem Hamashiach, Yahweh Shai. Um, let's see. So what I want to do, I'm gonna just go into the. It's been a while since we went into this Torah portion. We have some little bit of latency on platforms um, that we're using right now. So sorry about that. Wish we didn't, but technology is not um, seamless nor flawless most of the time. All right, so we're gonna just get right into the Torah portion. This Torah portion is Vayishlach, dealing with Yaakov or Jacob, and he was just wrestling with this messenger from Yahweh, and in the process of wrestling, he broke his hip. His hip got thrown out of place. The angel broke the messenger broke his hip. Now, when he broke his hip, this goes into the Gayad Hashana Hanasha, the Gayad Hanasha, which is like the sinew of the tendon, whereas the sciatica nerve. And if you ever been a woman that's been pregnant, you know that sciatica nerve can be the cause of a lot of pain and a lot of discomfort, during pregnancy. All right, so that's the nerve that we dealing with. All right, the sciatica nerve. Now, the sciatica nerve, when you look at it, the lower part of your back. We're dealing with Jacob, and I'm gonna get into the scripture real quick, but I just want to give you a little bit of physiological background about the sciatica nerve. Sciatica nerve is very, very important. It controls what you feel on the top of your foot and the lower part of your leg a lot, except for the outside lower part of your leg and things like that. Shalom Lakat, Donald. So now when you got this nerve, now what it does, all right, it starts at the back, at your lower spinal region. So put back there, your lower spinal region. All right, the lower part right there, that's where your sciatic nerves. I think they say L3 and S4 or L4 and S3. At the lower back, you got the sciatic nerve starts right there, and of course, it's dealing with connected with your spinal nerves and everything too. So you got this nerve back there, right? So the nerve, what it does is it goes from the back of it goes from like the back of your spine, and then it comes like through the whole of your pelvis, okay, like the top part of it, and then it goes through from your nerve. Let me see, I can explain this a better way. It goes from the back of your body then around to the front part of your hip bone, where your pelvis is at, the top of your pelvis. And then it passes through that little opening in the part of the hip bone where the thigh connects, and then it goes back again to the back of your leg. Hope I explained that. So it kind of goes from the back of your back, almost like an S, the back of your back, comes out to the front for a little, just a short space, then it goes back to the back of your leg again. All right, so if you injure your sciatic nerve, man, it's painful. So that's what happened with our father, Jacob. All right, he got a sciatic nerve, which we call that in Hebrew, Gayad Hanasha, or Gid Hanashe, either one. But it's made up of 7 Hebrew letters. So now, if you ever look at a chicken thigh, the back of a chicken thigh, you see that white, it's like a white piece of material, not quite muscle and not skin, just white coming from the thigh. If you flip it over backwards, where the meat is exposed without the skin, you'll see it on the opposite side where the skin is on your chicken thigh. So white nerve that goes through, all right, in your food, and in the nerve of the chicken. All right, what you want to do is pop that out, because we don't eat that as Hebrew people because of what happened with our father Yaakov. So it's like a statute that we respectfully remember our father Jacob by not eating that part, that sinew tendon or that sciatic nerve, right? So you don't eat that. You take it out. Once again, I'm telling you where it is. You look at your thigh, your chicken, you flip it over, and you see like a white line, all right, kind of fibers. You just pluck that right out. And same thing when you're looking at lamb. You look at lamb, it's almost stands alone. It's a white, or like maybe some meat will be around it, some muscle might be around it, but it just stands by itself, man. It's a thick, single, almost separate strand of whatchamacallit inside the thigh. So you just pop that out, cut it out, whatever, then enjoy your leg of lamb, you know what I'm saying, or enjoy your chicken thigh, or your quail thigh, or your turkey thigh, you know, or your pigeon thigh, whatever kind of thighs you're choosing to eat. All right, so that's just, go ahead and pop that out. All right, so now it's a very, you know, it's the biggest nerve in the body, and it's what kind of crippled Jacob for a little while, because he had a bad limp after he broke it. Okay, good afternoon, Cesar Salazar Lima, all right, brother down in Brazil. All praise to the Most High. All right, so we're gonna try to get right into this. So now in the English, it's gonna be verses chapter 32, verses 30, 31, and 32, and in chapter 33. It's going to be the same for English and Hebrew, chapter 33, verses 1 through 5. Now, in the Hebrew, it's going to be chapter 32, verses 31, 32, and 33. So what we'll do, we got two options we can play around with. We can just read the literal translation. Hey, Shalom, Qatar. I see you changed that name, huh? Hallelujah, all praise to the Most High, man. So you got the Hebrew. We can read it in the Hebrew, or we can just do like the English literal understanding, literal translation, and then we can go into the brief midrash, the brief explanation of what each verse is talking about, because there's only 8 verses, you know, so we can 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 32, 31, 33, or you can do 31, 32, and 33, or 30, 31, and 32. All right. So now, okay, let's go. This is verse 31 in the Hebrew and verse 30 in the English. All right. So it says 30 in English. Wayakwara aikwab sham hamakwawam panya Allah. Kaya Arayatya Alahayam Panyam Al Panyam Wa Danatazal. All right, Danatazal Napashia. So he says, and called Yaikwa the name of the place, face of the power. For I have seen the Alahayam, the powers, face to face. All right, and preserved my life, and my life is preserved. He says, my soul, actually, they say life, but my soul, it says, which is Taziyal. Now, what I want to point, first of all, when you look at this, when you look in the Hebrew, you see a couple of different things. Number one, you see that they changed it from, in the next verse, they're going to call a place Panwa Allah. Here they call it Panya Allah. All right. So face is of the power. The next one is like almost like as like a, either you can see it as a feminine masculine change in that that midpoint between the two, where you can see it as one being movement with their hand and the other one being stationary with the wawa. Maybe that's why it changed. That has something to do with the meaning of the what the author was trying to convey to us and changing it. You won't notice it really. You may notice it in the Hebrew, in the English rule name. Sometimes it says Penuel, and sometimes it's called Peniel. Some people say it's connected with the pineal gland. But we're not gonna get that deep in it. It's pan, face, comes from the word face, and then Allah of God, face of God, or face of the powers. So that's what it actually means. Whether or not they based that on the pineal gland, or whether the pineal gland is based on that, I don't know. I doubt it. But Jacob Yaakov was telling us why we have that name through his actions. All right. So what you notice though is that I use the word face, which faces, that's your face is what people look upon, what people see. Next time you see the word tzalal, which means to preserve, which may be going into a foreshadow, because after that we're going to see that the sun is rising. So we see that word tzalal, which tzalal is a Hebrew word that means shadow. So I can't help but seeing tzal. If you know Hebrew, you can't help but see tzal and think of the word shadow, because it's one L off from shadow. Okay, it's one L off from shadow. Tzalal. All right. So with that tzalal, this is watanat tzal, which means to for the Most High to preserve. So he says that his life is preserved, but he saw the powers face to face, but it was not a good experience. So he's saying, I persevered, I've conquered, I've dealt physically with a Alahayim representative, and I still got my life. He don't say I win or I'm the top dog, I came on top, because he got his thigh pop. So he couldn't say that. But he said, I still have my soul. Right? My soul is preserved, which he's saying the richness of his life. That word napash or nefesh, or napshi in this case, napshi. Is preserved. My life is literally preserved, meaning being kept away from danger on a higher level than shamar. That's verse 30. Now verse 31 in the English, but verse 32 in the Hebrew says Wayazrak lawa hashemash aka ashara irab ath panwa Allah Wahawa'a Tzalai. All right, Tzalai Ail Yarakwa. Okay, Yarakwa. All right, so it says that and rose and rose upon him the sun, just as he crossed, as he crossed toward Peniel, all right, or directly crossing Penuel or Panwa Allah. See, now it's changed from Peniel to Panwa Allah. So now it's the face of the powers was movement and power and active with the yod, the hand. Now we see the wawa there, so now it's a stationary understanding, because the fighting has stopped and he has a place. It says wa hawa'a tzalai, and he limped, right, tzalai, all right, to he was limping upon, or kind of walking and stopping, it says Ayl Yarakwa. So he was limping upon his thigh. All right, so he got his thigh, he got beat up. Basically, our father Jacob, Yaakov, got beat up. Now remember now, understand this. When you talk about the thigh and Jacob in his hip, that's also showing us, because remember, Jacob is grabbing Esau's heel, man. We got to pull Esau out of his power. We got to pull the so-called white man out of, not the Chinese, not the Japanese, not the Arabs, not the Africans. All right. He been beating y'all butt over there in Africa for centuries, man. And he ain't even invade y'all fully. And when he invaded us in America fully, we gave him hell for 200 years. So we much more proficient warriors, I would say, than the Hamites, because the Most High had to take us to another part of the earth in order for the white man to conquer us. So we're gonna beat him. We're gonna pull him down out of his power. Jacob is gonna be victorious over Esau, the so-called white man that's controlling the world's economic, political, social arenas. He's in full control as the children of Amalek. Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of the world that's going to follow, that we read about in Revelation. So the so-called white man, he's going down. He's going out of his power. But remember, Jacob's hand held first the heel of Esau. We look at 2nd Ezra chapter 6, verse 8 and 9. But now Jacob is this confrontation with this angel, with this supreme almighty power. It's like almighty power. Let's not say almighty. So when Jacob is fighting this angel, his whole hip is knocked out of place. Bam! It's over. Your hip popped out, bro. You ain't fight. You can hold on, but you ain't really gonna be doing too much fighting. And then you just kind of limping on one leg now. You can do it, but it's gonna be difficult. So the message we want to bring out of that is that there's spiritual forces that the Most High have sent toward the children of Israel to oppose us, to knock our hip out of power. But we know at the end of the battle, we pulling the white man out of his power straight up and down. There's no, I'm not even worried about it. Don't even worry about it, yo, because the Edomite, Gentile, white man, everybody that's against the children of Israel, and even if you force, you're still losing your power, man. You coming out of that power structure, that power seat. So that shows us that even though we get our hip knocked out of place, meaning what? We had to take on that full negative life. We had to take on the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. A Shalom, Bam Aliyah Izar. We had to take on that full knowledge of the tree of good and evil. You know what I mean? So when we take on that tree, that's like that hip getting popped out of socket. So when the hip get popped out of socket, now we as the children of Yashala, we recuperate, we recover, we try to come back to the laws, commandments, and statutes of the Most High, trying to get our footing right, trying to get our foot right. But what we doing now, we like hobbling on one leg because our nerve is messed up. And that's how it is when we come into this truth. Our walk is shaky. We got a shaky walk, but then through what? Rehabilitation, through exercising that muscle. What happens? We become better at our walk, our halakha or our halakha or our halakha. We get better at our walk, at our halakha. So that's the thing we have to remember in this walk as children of Israel, learn from our father, Yaakov, having that battle, that confrontation. Even though it debilitates you, you got to keep on walking forward. So your job, your money, your wife, your children, don't let them distract or take you off of that walk. If our father had an encounter with a fourth dimensional being and he stood on his path, then don't let something on this earth take you off of your path of walking righteously and upright towards Yahweh, man. I'm not really here for like, oh, I'm gonna inspire you or whatever. I'm just keeping it real with what we're supposed to be learning from what our fathers did, man. And we take these lessons on everyday life. All right. So now what we see also is that it says, Wayarak. No, select Wayatarak lo Wahashamash, and rose upon him the sun. So now the sun is rising. Now, this is putting us more toward the east. The sun is rising from the east. That darkness of the night is over now. Now he's looking toward the east, because that's, where we're going to be focused and centered at. This whole story is beginning and ending in the Eastern Hemisphere. And that's what motivated me to come back to the Eastern Hemisphere, right? To the land of our fathers, the land where our fathers were born, in the land that I'm in. The 12 tribes of Israel were born in what's now modern day Turkey. All right. Rachel lived here. Leah lived here. Bilhah and Zilpah lived here. Jacob lived here for over 20 years of his life. You know what I'm saying? Jacob lived here for over 20 years of his life, man. Oh, all praise to Yahweh, Bashem Yahweh Shai, Bam Ali Izar. Jacob lived here for over 20 years of his life, man. So that's why I came back to this part of the country, because I want to be close to where my fathers are. Even though my people are, a Choctaw, all right, and from the Americas and Cherokee and Judah also in my family's lines, all right, but That ain't where we come from. I wasn't comfortable in Babylon only talking to the people that came into Babylon in slavery, captivity, and conquest in North, Central, South America, Caribbean. I was comfortable doing it, but I didn't feel like I was fulfilling my personal mission to reach out to all of our people that's been scattered all over the globe, including the East. So as Jacob is coming out of this dark struggle, now what he doing? He crossing into this light now. He's made it over that struggle. He got to recuperate. He's walking toward the light. Come out the darkness. You see that? So Jacob is now coming out the darkness. And the sun, the scripture says that Vayishlach lawa hashemash. So I'm going to take that as the sun rose upon him. So now the sun rose upon him. So just like now when we come into Yahweh, the sun of righteousness is supposed to rise upon us, which is Yahweh Shai Hamashiach, man. Forget what the white man talking about. I mean, his days is numbered. He is the physical incarnation of the spiritual demon known as Satan. Like it or not, take it or leave it. Don't change the reality, you know what I mean, of what it is, man. So the so-called white man is the devil that the Bible speaks of. You don't got to like it or agree with it, but if you look at what he's done on the planet Earth, their race has destroyed every single continent, including Antarctica. So he is the devil the Bible speaks of, man. And get off that soft little cushion when you come into this truth and think you're going to just sit around and try to convince people to do something you want them to do and to pay money to you and sit around singing songs, man. The reality of the Bible is raw. And so-called white man is the devil, and we are the gods on the earth. We are the gods on this earth. Okay, when you look at Psalms chapter 82, verse 5, 6, and 7. All right. It says, Ani Amadti Elohim Atem. I've said you are gods. All right, so now the sun is rising upon him and he crossed over. Now, when he crossed over, the word here is Ibar. So it's a false doctrine that says that Jacob and Abraham were Hebrews because they crossed over the river. Well, they've been crossing over rivers all their life. It wasn't no special name for people that crossed the river, man. That's just ridiculous. Yeah, he's a river crosser, even though they do call our people wetbacks. So that kind of goes into the scriptures also. That theory is kind of relating to a byword that they call Israel. He crossed over the river, so you're going to call his back is wet or whatever. So, which, you know, Esau's back is more than wet. He crossed the whole ocean to get to where we was at. We was minding our business. He came over here murdering, killing, pillaging. Not here, but over in the Americas. Bad habit I got. So now when that sun comes up, he crossed the river. Anybody look at the Hebrew, the word is it's abad or ibad or ibar when you cross from one side to another side or something. That word comes from our father Ibar, not from us crossing the river. Our father, when you look in Genesis chapter 10, we had a father named Ibar. And so we're named after him. His name is Ibar. Those people that come after him are called Ibar or Ibariyam. All right, so he called the name of the place. So now he limped upon his knee, but his thigh, but he was still walking forward. You know what I mean? So that phrase is that it says Gayal Hanasha Yarak. All right, the sinew of his tendon of his thigh. So it's the thigh that we're dealing with, okay? It's the thigh. And that's your powerful, you want to just do this, all right? Go to a wall, kick that wall, and then punch it. See which one gives more power. So that thigh is going to give more power to that wall, you know. Do it with a glove on, you know, maybe do it with house shoes on a brick wall. Punch the brick wall and kick the brick wall. Anyway, your thigh is more powerful. It's right at the solar, the seat of your loin area. All right, so that's what Jacob did. The sun rose upon him. Now we got to look toward the son of Yahweh Shai, which is the son of righteousness, not Ra and all that Egyptian madness, foolishness, idolatry that didn't work, doesn't work, and has no place for our people. Egyptology. It's all a joke. You don't even got the Hamites doing this stuff. You Israelites think you're going to resurrect them ancient demons, you know, between your I guess on your lunch break at work. All right, so now verse 32 in the English, 33 in the Hebrew, it says Ilkan, for this reason, lo or la'a, no, ya'akal wa, they don't eat, banya, the children, yasha Allah, children, yasha Allah, af, gaya, the sinu, hanasha, of the tendon, ashra, which aisle is upon kap, the cover, hayadak, the cover of the thigh, which is talking about your thigh bone again. The cover of your thigh is your pelvic. So the nerve that passes through the pelvic, we don't eat that. It says Ayl Hayawam, upon until Aid Hayawam, until this day, until day Haza'ah, this Kaya, for Kaya Nagai, or lay his hand on, or touched, bakap, upon the top. Remember, kap is your hand, the cover for something. Kap, like Yawam HaKaparyam, the Day of Atonement. Your hand, the Most High covers your sins. HaKap, Yarak, the hip, Ya'ikwa, hip of Jacob. Bagayad, the sinew, Hanasha, the sinew of the tendon. So the angel touched the sinew of the tendon. For that reason, we don't eat it. And I described it earlier. When you flip your chicken over, all right, you'll see like the little white little vein looking thing. Pop that out, don't eat it. Same thing with your leg of lamb. When you look, it's a thicker white, it's like a thick single, almost separate strand. Pop that out from where it starts at and where it ends at. And, just don't eat it. The one of the thigh. You can do the whole leg, but it's specifically talking about the thigh. So we don't eat that again. We're not supposed to be eating that. It says the children of Israel. It says, upon this not do eat the sons of Israel the sinew of the tendon, which covers the hip, the socket hip of the thigh, to this day, because he touched the socket of his hip, Jacob, the sinew of his of the tendon. So the angel touched Jacob, and it got destroyed. It got messed up. All right. So that's, if you've been a woman that's pregnant, they feel that horrible, horrible pain. I feel for y'all women, man. That sinew, that tendon that be pressing up, the sciatic nerve pressing up against your bones, man, when you carrying that baby around. Then these little kids got the nerve, don't want to listen to what you got to say. Man, I wish I would. You ought to. Okay, now, chapter 33, verse 1, Will. Chapter 32, Kala Shadat, the body of Yahweh, not Ishawa, not Shemai. All that Yahweh said what we do in here. That's how we end the chapter readings. Chapter 33, verse 1. I'm going to just go, my battery's getting low. I'm just going to run straight forward and read this out now. And lifted Jacob his eyes and looked, and there Esau was coming, and with him 400 men. So he, Jacob, divided the sons among Leah and Rachel and the two maidservants. So Jacob looked up like, yo, man, I just fought this angel. Now he come this, man. Esau, he gonna be on his Esau-ish, man. So Jacob is like flipping out, like, yo, Esau coming, man. And he still got that beef with me when I took the birthright. So Jacob is in for a rude awakening, or so he thinks. He thinks it's about to be some drama jumping off. So now he about to use wisdom. He got his enemy coming toward him, which is his blood brother. Want to kill him. Told him he's gonna kill him. And now let's see what Jacob does in the face of this hostile, military-minded encounter. See what Jacob. So first he divided his family up between the children of handmaidens, Bilhah and Zilpah, children of Leah, children of Rachel. So he divides up the families now, right? So the family get divided up into groups, okay? So now verse 2, and he put the maidservants and their children in front, and Leah and her children behind, and Rachel and Joseph last, because Benjamin wasn't born yet, so Rachel was the mother of Joseph, Yahweh, which is the father of the Puerto Ricans and the Cuban. If you don't like that, you have your father, the devil. Put it like that. If you got something to say about the so-called blacks, Hispanic, Latinos, Native Americans being from the same father and mothers of the children of Israel, then you have your father, the devil, and you would do the works of the father who is the thief in the beginning, and he come to do nothing but to kill, steal, and destroy. Second Peter chapter 2, verse 1 through 2 in full effect with a lot of this garbage that y'all brothers trying to teach nowadays, man. So he lined everybody up and put Rachel last because that was his sweetheart, that was his baby. He had more than one wife. Rachel was his favorite. Get over it. That's his right. The Most High never said you got to have all your wives and love them or treat them exactly the same. You don't even treat your children directly the same. You know what I'm saying? You don't treat your children directly the same. So anyway, that's the point I'm making. In domestic situations, the Most High never ordained that everybody must be treated the same exact way. He said, let all things be done decently and in order. All right. So let's deal with this situation with a little more of a righteous perspective on the situation. Let me see if I can my little what's the name is bugging out, man. This little device right here is getting low. So we're gonna see if we can get a little bit of extra time. We're gonna plug in this charger. Well, not we, but me. Plug in this charger right here. All right, so now let me try to. All right, so I got through that part. So we got verse 2, and bowed himself to the ground 7 times until he came near to his brother. So he humbled himself to Esau when he knew that Esau had the upper hand. He humbled himself and bowed down to Esau when Esau had the upper hand. That's what we got to do proverbially. We know the white man got the upper hand. We can't go against this man. We got to be cunning and divide our families up into proper groups so that if something happens, we're going to be on point and we protect it and we safe. And then we can deal with the white man on whatever level we need to deal with him as men. That's why I say you don't need to be having your woman in the middle of Babylon unless she is there as a direct support of your focused mission to wake up your people, not living life as normal in captivity in Babylon. Babylon is a war zone. Have your families there to directly working toward waking up the 12 tribes of Israel. If not, you need to be someplace else, man. So be there to support the mission to wake up the people, not just living life as normal. That's verse 30, verse 3, verse 4. But ran Esau to meet him and embraced him and fell on his neck and kissed him and wept. So Esau was moved at the humility of Jacob this time. Don't always happen. So when you humble yourself before your enemies, knowing who your God is, knowing the strength that you got, knowing the power you got, but you might be outnumbered in the physical, but you already fought your battle in the spiritual, so you don't got to go around flexing your wings and brandishing swords and knives and stuff because the battle is already won and it ain't going to be won with no physical weapons. The weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but spiritual. So that's what Esau didn't understand that, but Jacob understood it. Jacob said, man, he's trying to come at me. What can I do? Man, I'm going to just humble myself before him like it says to do in the Proverbs. And that's how he got the victory. Verse 5, and he lifted his eyes and saw the women and the children and said, whose are these with you? And he said, the sons whom Elohim has graciously given your servant. So now Esau is humbling himself because remember the scripture says that the elder shall serve the younger. So everybody knew that Esau was the servant of Jacob, but Jacob is saying, I'm your servant. Everybody knew that Isaac put the blessing that said that your brother is going to be your servant. Esau is going to be your servant, Jacob. But yet and still, Jacob is saying, I'm your servant, Esau. He playing a role and he being humble about it, but we know what it is at the end of the day. So, whatever cap you got to put on, in captivity to throw off our enemies, righteously put that cap on, man. Because this is warfare that we dealing with. That's what I'm telling y'all, brothers, like, your wife don't belong in Babylon, just everyday life. People get murdered, kidnapped. Yeah, it happens over here in the Middle East and everything too, but not like over there for like no reason, like just craziness over there, man. Be in Babylon supporting, waking up and redeeming our people mentally from Babylon and from captivity. So when the physical deliverance happens, which is going to happen over there, everybody going to be ready, you know what I'm saying, on the same wavelength and ready to go in righteousness. All right. So That's the Torah portion for the day, man. You know what I'm saying? So Jacob put himself on the front line, literally, but it not by might nor by sword, but by the strength of the Most High, by his power, the power of the Most High. Not the horses, not the chariots, not the arrows, not the bows, not the spears, but we are going to be his battle axe and weapon of war. When you look in the book of Jeremiah, chapter 51, verse 19 and 20, we the battle axe and weapons of war. And Jacob understood that. So Jacob said, I'm the battle axe and weapons of war, so I'm choosing to lay down my arms right now. Like Burning Spear said, throw down your arms and come. Throw down your arms and come. So he threw down his arms, which is his self. He's the body, his temple. So he said, I'm going to bow down. Temple and a weapon. I'm going to bow down to Esau 7 times for that completion. I'm going to bow down 7 times because the scripture says what? You're going to chase your enemy, man. They're going to flee 7 times from before you. But then it also said your enemy's going to put you to flight. You're going to flee like mad 7 times, which was thoroughly. So he thoroughly humbled himself to his brother Esau. Because Esau got the power right now, like Snap. You know what I'm saying? I got the power. Or you humble yourself to your enemy, knowing that that's actually a sign of a token of strength. Not a token that you a sucker. Because what did Esau do? Esau humbled himself to Jacob. He's supposed to be murdering Jacob. Remember, he told him, I'm going to kill you when I see you. So Jacob avoided a death situation just by doing a simple physical move, humbling himself. All right. A simple physical move just by humbling himself, man. And that solved the whole problem. Now everything is moving together forward again. And Jacob could get on with his mission, and Esau gonna part his way. You know what I'm saying? So that's how we gotta operate in life, dealing with the devil, man, dealing with our enemies, dealing with fake Israelites, man, dealing with people that got these false, anal doctrines every week, man. It don't make no sense. Like, who taught you, brothers, man? Do you ever sit down and really look at history and really read just basic history of the Americas or basic history of the Greek Empire, and you get a much bigger understanding of what's going on in the world right now and see the characteristics, the descriptions of the Kurdish people, all right, the Assyrian people, all these other people, all right, you get a better understanding. Yeah, what you got to say, Ian, before we get logged off, man? Go ahead and say it. We can address it. So humility gets you a long way. All right, because we're gonna win the battle. Look what Yahushua did, man. Yahushua said, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. He didn't lose nothing by saying that. He's still who he is, and it didn't take nothing away from him. Look what our father Jacob did. He humbled himself to his brother Esau, bowed himself to the ground 7 times. You can't take nothing away from a man of the Most High that's walking uprightly and righteously on the path that the Most High have set him on, when he knows where the destination is going to end. See, a lot of you brothers not sure about your destination you're going to. Jacob, Yaakov, our father, he knew his destination, man. So when it came time to do what he had to do for him and his family to survive, which didn't mean break the commandments of the Most High. Never that. But he just had to humble himself quickly, not even for a season. Just quickly humbling himself, and that saved him from the destruction that was in pain. He didn't go up and pray and say, oh, please save me. He said, no, I'm going to humble myself to my brother. So now there's time and place for all things, like we see in the book of Ecclesiastes. Is it time to humble ourselves and bow down to the white man's feet? All right. 7 times? Heck nah. Is it time to be wise as serpents? All right, and harmless as doves for this season against our arch nemesis in the whole, DC Marvel comic epics is always about Esau and Jacob. Is it time to go to war, or to be harmless as a dove and wise as a serpent? Now is the time to be wise as a serpent, harmless as a dove, because the Most High said when they try to come up against us, no weapon that they use, they're going to prosper. We look in Isaiah chapter 54. So obviously, whatever weapon they got now is prospering, so this ain't the time we living in to be going to war. Everybody talk. But when it's time to do physical war, ain't nothing happening. Ain't nothing jumping off. It's static. It's just static noise, man. All right. So yeah, EM, you said you had something to say, man. Go ahead. What you want to share with us? All right. So as we wait for that brother to share what he's trying to share with us, if he even want to share it, yeah. Stay on your game. Stay on your road. Get your walk right. If we learn anything from this third day Parashah, is keep your walk right and tight. If your legs get broke, stop complaining. Keep going forward. Walk in them statutes. Jacob don't got nothing right now. His father was trying to kill him. He just left from his father-in-law that wanted to do harm to him. He catching hell from both sides, man. But he persevered forward, man. He was willing to lose everything. So when you're willing to lose everything now, you a man that's dangerous to Hashatan. Because ain't nothing he could dangle in front of you for you to do his bidding or for you to turn your back to the Most High. Not the job, not the woman, not the car, not the house, not the bank accounts, nothing he could dangle in front of you. Once you have your mind set up, man, it's do or die now. I'm going to do this commandment righteously, or I'm prepared to die and spend my time in punishment from the Most High. And you ain't never ready for that point. So don't ever be ready to break the commandments, you know what I'm saying, of the Most High. As the brother say, James Israel, my own family keep pressing me. It's sad that we have a heathen in our own family. All we have to do is wait patiently for Yahweh and his son to return. I went to work this morning and saw a tree up in the building, and I was so upset I wanted to take it down and threw it away. But there was a camera watching me. Yeah, man, he the devil. He controlling the earth right now. Job 9:24, Job 9:24, and Jeremiah chapter 10, verse 1-5, rolled up together. But wait on Yahweh, man. Wait on the Lord. We can't do nothing physically against him right now to take him down. We can do little physical scrimmages, here and there to get, little different small victories here and there. You know what I'm saying? But we can't do nothing to knock him to knock the so-called white man out the box. But we get our little scrimmages on, believe that, here and there, off record. You know what I mean? So, I'm over here in Turkey, man, but over here just willy-nilly. I got a plan, believe that. And you might not know my plan. I might not share my plan with you, but what's your plan for what you doing in this walk? It's got to be more than just getting up, finding a place, good spot, and teaching our people. It's got to be integrated to deal with every aspect of our people's lives where they have been hurt, destroyed, and exploited. We have to address all of the areas of our people so that we can have a thorough healing and we can create more levels of understanding, brotherhood, faith, and nationhood amongst our people. So keeping that path and walking that path like our father Jacob, no matter how much our hip hurt us, how much we knocked out of position, how much that sciatica keep hurting, Jacob went forward. He did not accept defeat. He did not accept any type of compromise, and he did what was in the best interest of himself and his family, according to what Yahweh gave him to walk in. He kept walking, in that direction. So you have to keep walking in that direction and don't let anything distract you or deter you. The primary focusing goal of your life as an Israelite is two things: salvation and obedience. Salvation for you and your people, including your family, and then obedience to Yahweh in the name of Yahweh Shai, no matter what the cost is. See, Yahweh Shai paid the cost to be the boss. David paid the cost to be the boss. These brothers on the front line. You know what I mean? Solomon, he had his henchmen go out and wipe out all David's enemies. Joab, you out of here. You killed him. You see what I'm saying? So the point is that, man, everybody was on that front line doing what they had to do for the Most High Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shah. So you got to get on that front line and get out that comfortable zone you in. See, that's Jacob hip popping. So you don't want to go into the battle because you don't want to get injured. You don't want your hip to get popped. You see what I'm saying? You don't want to be you don't want to have your leg thrown out of place. So you don't fight the battle. You should, but you got to get into that. You got to get into that arena, man. That octagon or whatever, or that ring or whatever, that square ring. You got to get in there and fight this battle, man. Fight this battle. You know what I'm saying? Because the race ain't to the swift, but he didn't do it to the end. You know what I'm saying? Shall be saved, man. You got to fight this battle, man. You know, Second Timothy 2. You know what I'm saying? 1, 2, 3. All right. So that's it. Shalom Lakam, the Most High be with you. In the name of Yahweh, by Shem Mashiach, Yahweh Shai. All right, Shalom.